After gaining experience in insurance and banking, Allwell decided to branch out on his own as a management consultant, working with clients on a variety of financial and auditing projects. He quickly expanded his expertise to include analytic, IoT, automation, and enterprise resource planning, ERP, which has been very beneficial to his clients. Allwell's impressive background and experience caught the attention of Samsung, one of the world's leading electronics company. They recruited him as a data analyst, and his work there quickly earned him a promotion to head data analyst. In this role, he is responsible for leading a team of analysts to provide insights into Samsung's vast data sets, helping the company to make data-driven decisions and improve its aspirations. Despite his business schedule at Samsung, Allwell still finds time to run his own consultant practice, Reapwell Consulting. As the founder and CEO of the firm, he works with clients in a variety of industries to help them optimize their financial aspirations and operations, reduces costs, and increases profits. He has a reputation for providing practical, effective solutions that are tailored to each client's unique needs and challenges. Allwell is fervent about leveraging data and technology to boost business expansion, ingenuity, and productivity. He earned his financial modeling and valuation analytics FMVA, as well as his business intelligence and data analyst BIDA certification from CFI, a renowned financial institute across the globe. Despite his many accomplishments, Allwell remains humble and focused on his goals. He is driven by a desire to make even greater contribution to the field of financial analytics and to have a positive impact on Africa through his work. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard so much about this wonderful personality. Oh my God. Head of Data Analyst, Samsung, founder, Reapwell Consulting, Samsung. Please help me make welcome Mr. Allwell Esama as he comes to take this podium. Mr. Allwell Esama, I beg your pardon. It's my Edo brother. Welcome, sir. Welcome. Thank you so much.
Sincere apologies for that dramatic introduction. Yes, sir. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Allwell Esama. I'm an analyst and an accountant, and I'm here to talk to you guys today about the potentials of cloud-based ERP systems and its cybersecurity merits. Okay, here. Not working. Anyways, we can get started with that. So, the word ERP systems, it stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. So before the definition here comes in, I'm going to break it down from the first word. Enterprise. Enterprise is basically the business in itself, the company, the organization, what we all run here as individuals and entrepreneurs. The resources, whether material resources, financial resources, human resources, these are all the assets at the disposal of the company, which it utilizes to generate revenue as the original goal of the company. Now, in my view, I usually say planning is the methodology and approach that the company takes towards allocating these resources for profit generation. That being said, an ERP system is nothing but a tool that helps businesses accomplish this goal. It helps businesses manage their day-to-day business operations, increase efficiency, eliminating the human interventions, manual data entry, and just making sure that the business runs efficiently, automating routine tasks and things like that. Can I have this? All right. Please, what's going on? Okay. So, just bring the laptop then. All right. So I'm going to start with the functionalities and the importance of this particular system. This cloud system, it could be an on-premise system or a cloud system, but basically it integrates every aspect of a business operations, from procurement to production, inventory management, finance, expensing, HR management. Every single department and function of a business is collated and integrated with each other. Some of the IT experts who have discussed before me mentioned the avoiding. Oh, thank you very much. Avoiding information silos. As you can all see how they are linked up, the ERP connects the entire business, making all these functions interact intelligently, function, make reporting and data flow easy for a business to operate. Now, why is this important? If you have every aspect of your business running on a particular system, meaning if something should ever happen to that system, there's a damage, hardware, natural disaster, or attack by a malicious individual, you will definitely, the business is essentially crumbled for that period of time, and you will not be able to function. This is where cybersecurity, This takes us to the point of the type of data that is in this database, the things that we want to protect using cybersecurity. So, what are the types of data that a business usually deals with? It has your company's financial data, your product information, your customer data, their names, their addresses, your employee data, even as far as the next of kin of those employees. There are a lot of critical, confidential, and sensitive information in this database system, your supplier information, and so forth. So, establishing the ERP as a database presents itself an inherent security risk. So, we'll be talking about the types of security risks here for a while now, so I'm just going to touch on a few of them. Data breach. A data breach occurs when an authorized person gains access to sensitive information, such as personal data, financial information, or trade secrets. This in itself is where, when the malicious individuals gain access to this sensitive information, they can basically hold you for ransom. They use it for nefarious purposes, you are vulnerable, and that is a risk that a company needs to avoid by all costs. Data manipulation. It could be, I think this is essentially fraud basically, whether it's an employee internally manipulating data for their own personal benefits. Data loss. These are just few examples of the things that we're trying to avoid in a company, whether it's deleted intentionally or unintentionally. I'm pretty sure, well, I won't be a data analyst if I didn't have any data. 88% of cybersecurity attacks are due to human error, human mistake, the human intervention. That is still the leading cause of the problems of cybersecurity. Keep making this. All right. So this brings us to the case of cloud-based ERP systems. I'm sure the ERPs that I'm talking about, they can either exist on-premise, they are legacy systems, but now due to the cloud computing technology being utilized with ERP systems, a range of security features now have been developed to help businesses protect their data. And I'm going to go through some of these functions, the practical functions. When we say, how exactly does this service vendor, how exactly do they protect my data? What are the exact things that are being done that a practical, average businessman can understand without going into too many technicals? Role-based access control. Now, In a company where every aspect of the business is integrated into one system, you can't have all the personnel having access to everything in that system. You have to allocate, the administrator has to allocate access based on the data that is needed to complete your specific job role. There's no reason for HR to be having access to procurement information or sales having access to financial information. Everybody needs to be specified, their roles, their duties, their requirements. It needs to be segregated accordingly. And that's basically what role-based access control means. Data encryption. This has been touched on before now. While the data is there on the system, it's basically kept in an unreadable format to people without access. You need your password to decrypt it, either while it's in transit, you're sending mails with sensitive information, so on and so forth. Multi-factor authentication. This is something we're all familiar with. When you try to sign in, just even after imputing your password, they still say you have to send you OTPs to your email, to your phone, text message. So many requirements. It's a means of ensuring the identity of the individual trying to access the system. That's what multi-factor authentication. Now, to my very favorite, the audit trail. So, how do you track the activities of the employee in the business? This audit trail basically supports the zero trust model. The zero trust model to be able to ensure that people are sticking to the exact roles that they have been assigned to the exact tasks. Somebody can't just go and manipulate the information on the system. The system will log it, and you can see exactly what that individual has done, when they logged in, how long they were on the system, what are the exact things that they did on the system. These are checks and balances that are necessary for controlling all the activities of the employee following the zero trust model. IP blocking. I don't think I would really go into all of them, as backup and recovery has already been explained. IP blocking, you try and log in. Sometimes we try and log in from an unfamiliar IP address, in which case you usually get a notification, an alert. It's an alert system to ensure that you are the one trying to access that system and it's not some unknown individual with nefarious purposes. So, these security certifications. One of the former panelists asked a very critical question. I think it was Mr. Charles, yes. He asked a very critical question, that how exactly can you ensure, how can you be sure that these service providers are actually protecting your data? How they qualified? Because if that's the case, you won't tell me to keep my sensitive information on ground, on my own on-premise system, while using the ones that I don't really care about on the cloud. Why can't I just upload everything to the cloud? So I think the best answer to this is rules and regulations have been set, and the way they have certifications to ensure that they have gone through the necessary steps, they are following industry standards to make sure that your data is safe, following the individual's right to privacy, ensuring that the data is not manipulated. This certification assures and certifies. When you are trying to pick an ERP vendor, you have to go through, do proper research. What are your qualifications? Who actually use this system? What's the history? This is where we come in. So I gave few examples. The GDPR, I think that's the General Data Protection Regulation. It's a global industry standard for data protection. In Nigeria, we have a Nigeria Data Protection Bureau. So there are already rules and regulations in place that these individuals have to comply with before they can even offer this service to the public. It's the same way any of us can't just stand up and go and own a bank, start a bank without going through the necessary processes. All right. Regular updates. So there was, in, I think, 2017, there was a major attack on Microsoft systems. I think it was a WannaCry attack. The reason for this was because the hackers exploited a major vulnerability that was in Microsoft system. However, this vulnerability had been patched and sent as an update to the users 2 months earlier, at least over a month before, but due to inactivity of the individuals, people not installing. Sometimes people think updates are just occupying space, but in reality, they're actually there to protect you because the system has detected a vulnerability. And to protect these users, they send these regular updates, patches to prevent other individuals from exploiting this vulnerability. Now, just because the individuals who installed this update on time had little to fear from the attackers, but millions of other people were affected by something that could easily be avoided. So with cloud-based ERP systems, these updates are done automatically. You don't get any update notification where they need the intervention of human beings to ensure it happens. You sign up, once you come to the cloud, if there was an update, you instantly know that something is different. Sometimes you don't even know when it takes place. And that's exactly how it happens. The backups, recovery, everything is done automatically without the need of human concern. So, for the sake of time, I don't want to deliberate too much on what this is. I think at this point I've shown exactly how the cloud-based ERP system, hybrid cloud, public cloud, or even on-premise, however you want to use it. I always recommend hybrid cloud ERP systems, how they effectively solve and reduce the cybersecurity risks faced by businesses in Africa and across the world. Now, I would have said eliminate, because a lot of all these risks are actually eliminated. Like, you don't have to worry about it. But as an accountant, we learned in risk management, one of the first things we learned in risk management is you can't fully eliminate risk. There is also what we call residual risks, which brings me to the final component of ERP systems, cyber insurance. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, maybe one or two, just 1, 2, so that Mr. Esama can. Okay, 1, 2, just 1, 2, then we are.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Victor Debala, and I'm a lawyer, so pardon me, I don't really know the nitty-gritties of the whole cyberspace, but my question is more of a comment and then a question. So, cybersecurity varies from jurisdiction to jurisdiction, countries to countries. And in Nigeria, for instance, I know that there's a Cyber Security Prevention and Protection Act 2015, along with other laws. However, we see that there is a lacuna in the the administration of these laws, because we still see that there's a lot of chaos in terms of cybersecurity and people's identity going off. I mean, when we were talking now, somebody here must have gotten it. I got a text message from OB 2023. Then there's a link here. I don't know if you can see it. And what did I write? I wrote scam, but it didn't go. Why? Because they sent me a link. Now, this also goes to, what word will I use? They are trying to crave my passion. Maybe who even makes this person think that I'm obedient? Although I am, but we're not going to politics. But you understand my point. My point is this. When I saw this post now, I could have quickly said, because it said, "Dear obedient, please register as an agent for the Lagos election. Download this link." I would have just said, "Hey, I will make sure my vote is secure. I'll click it." And my data has gone. So these are the things that I want to ask you. So what really is being done? What are the steps that are being taken? Also, you made mention of protection from the people that are supposed to be protecting the data. How well are these data being protected? Where are the checks and balances to ensure that the corporations are not negligent? Then lastly, in respect of this ERP, where do you see it? Because I know I saw the one that talk of IP and all those things, IP blocking. And yes, I was going to also say, there was a question that you re-emphasized there of standardization, because in most institutions like NNPC, BP, all these big corporations, they have health and safety standards. So when somebody dies from a falling block or something, you go and check to ensure that they were following their IOCs 1, 2, 3, ISO So those standardizations too, what are the checks and balances on these corporations that are data? Because who even sent my number for somebody to be sending me this rubbish? So thank you very much. Then where do you see the ERP in the next 5 to 10 years, given those sweet things that you wrote?
Okay, thank you so much. You can respond now, sir.
Okay. So you said a lot. So I'm going to take it one after the other. Firstly, in terms of the regulation, the checks and balances, these things already exist. It's about education, awareness. Most individuals are not full enlightened about what cybersecurity actually is or the risks that they face. It's why people like that can still keep sending mails knowing 1 or 2 people, if not thousands of people, will fall for it because they don't know that you're not supposed to click the same way your parents teach you. Check both sides of the road before you cross. That's how you're supposed to verify the senders of these links before you click anything and give them access to your software. Now, so at the end of the day, these checks and balances already exist. It's up to the individuals. The human factor is really where the problem lies most of the time. It's really about the system. Now, for the regulations that have been there, how do you verify that an ERP or a cloud service provider is actually qualified to secure your data? They have to comply with certain rules of the jurisdiction, global rules, or even in their specific local jurisdiction. They have once they comply with these things, they get their certificates, which you as an individual can verify. You said you are a lawyer. If I should ask you for your certificate, I can verify that on the bar system to see if you're actually a lawyer. Same thing with a doctor. Same thing as an accountant. You can always verify this. That's why the certificate is issued in the first place. So this is understanding how to utilize these tools and resources that are actually around us. Not because they do not exist, but because people don't know that they do exist. I hope I answered all the questions. Yes. Then for the ERP systems, ERP has been around for a long time, a very, very long time. It has improved. It has gone through a lot of changes. And like the lady before me elaborated, they utilize machine learning, AI, IoT. These are new technologies that are fast-tracking the growth of the industry. I think the projection for ERP is expected to grow. The industry in Africa is expected to grow at a 14% compounded annual growth rate year on year to 2028. These are the things. It shows the potential of this system. That as more and more companies adopt it, start utilizing the resources that they have, Africa will start paying more attention to spending more on this industry. Thank you.
Okay, can we still we have more questions? Okay, we'll take from that lovely gentleman. He's looking very fine. Yes. Mr. Lawyer, sir, the way lawyers ask questions, so fascinating. I'm coming to that.
Thank you very much, sir. It's not really like a question. I wanted you to throw more light on audit trial and how it can be implemented in a particular organization.
Okay. So the audit trail is basically at the end of the day, managing a business is about record keeping. It's just the system keeping record of the activities of the individuals on this system. Why I use the word audit is because it's the administrator, the internal audit team, who will utilize this information if there is ever need to. Say there's an error in the system, or as an accountant, your books do not balance, and you know there's an issue. To track this issue, to get to the root of the problem, it's no longer a tedious process. You can easily verify everything that everybody has done, who did what they were not supposed to do, who accessed this system at the wrong time. This has to do with the policies and procedures that have already been set that you use to identify the risks or where this issue is coming from. So it's already implemented in the systems, and it's for companies now to include that in their own procedures and policies, and also create that culture for their people to utilize this as well. Does that answer the question?
The question, right? Okay, let's take one more question from Dr. Ago. I'll take questions. I'm in the mood for questions.
Thank you very much for the wonderful presentation. Dr. Agu Kolinsagu, Director and NITDA. My honorable gentleman, the lawyer, asked an important question, but I don't think he answered it fully. What NITDA does as a regulator is we try to sanitize the IT ecosystem across Nigeria to avoid what they call quackery, and then to avoid Nigeria being a dumping ground. That is why we license certain service providers and vendors. Example is the OEMs, people like Xenos Computers, Omatech, and so on and so forth. So we carry out certification of such companies every 2 years. And they bring the devices to us, and we do what they call the hardware testing, take the performance on that load, and so on and so forth. Now, we work in collaboration with stakeholders like CPN. Some of you are members of CPN, Nigeria Computer Society, Computer Professionals, CPN, Computer, I've forgotten the name of Nigeria, Computer, whatever. So we work with such people where we put a list of service providers in Nigeria. It is very, very important so that we don't become a dumping ground. Yeah. And they're doing the project clearance activities, especially IT-related projects across the MDAs. We always reference such companies to see that they've actually been authorized or they've been vetted against their products and services and so on and so forth. I think you're happy with that. Thank you. So there's a system, there's a standard existing, and so on and so forth. Thank you.
Basically, by putting more effort into the research and verification, this data is there. This data, if you go on NICD, you will see the list of the companies that have been verified. If somebody tells you they are offering these services, have they been verified by the NIC? Exactly. Thank you.
Okay, do we still have any other question? Any other question? Okay, I think. Okay. Yeah, that young man is a questionnaire. Is a questionnaire.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Allwell. So speaking about ERP, so in terms of financial records, right? Because I know ERP most times are deployed on custom servers like your Azure and the rest, or sometimes on-prem. So how do you ensure the authenticity of data? Let's say a transaction has gone on, maybe there was a credit or a debit or something. And how do you ensure that someone somewhere won't delete the record of a transaction? Like your ERP administrator, for example.
Manipulation.
Or something like that. And even the change log, in some cases, you can actually, delete logs and all that. So I'm just trying to know how solid in terms of data accountability.
So, basically what you're talking about is how do you ensure the data integrity? If you notice the list that I gave, they all work in tandem. The role-based access control that I mentioned prevents unauthorized users. You can't just not just anybody can have the authority to delete anything on the system. Whether you made a mistake, you need to go through an approval process before that thing can be corrected. Meaning, in a situation, something concerning financial data, debit and credit, only the head accountant, not even a junior accountant, depending on all these things vary based on the size and scale of the company itself, and also their own processes. So what you can be sure of is that the individuals who have the access to do this have been predetermined. So if there's ever a situation where something like that was deleted, you already know who and who to meet. So it ensures transparency. Transparency in preventing this issue, and also if in the case where it does happen, like I said, you can't completely eliminate risk, you can respond and address the situation after it happens.
Okay, yes. No, I'm in the mood. I will take questions. Don't worry, because the way you are, it's not like you want me to see you, so I will take your question. You can ask.
All right, thank you. I just like your posture. You're a very funny person, and I like the way you address the question. But looking at you, that you have this accounting background, and there's been a lot of issue in the banking system in the country. There was a story that I sent him money to you, received the money, but for my record, there was no any record of transaction, right? So there's a lot of issues in the banking system regarding the security of our money. So there's lack of confidence in keeping money in Nigeria banking again. So from your own accounting background and then linking this to the cybersecurity in West Africa, right? can you just isolate what are the root cause, one? And number two, can you itemize what do we think Nigeria should do to save ourselves from this mess? A lot of the IT guys, you know what is going on? They say most of the good guys in the banking system, they japa, and then what is left now is like the one that just doing try by error. So seriously, it's serious. We are actually in a critical situation, which if we don't address on time, it will end up in a serious, I don't want to use the word calamity. So over to you, thank you.
Okay.
Basically, like you said, what is the root cause? The root cause of this issue, addressing the root cause is also the solution, and the root cause is infrastructure. Nigeria, even the banks, if you notice this issue that has been occurring recently where someone sends money, the transaction is incomplete, in accounting we call that a debit without a corresponding credit. The banking system is essentially just records. Now, if these records are incomplete, that's when you start having that issue. The reason those issues occur is because the bank does not have the sufficient infrastructure and IT expertise to ensure that these processes flow seamlessly. So when it comes back to the same issue that we need to address in Nigeria, infrastructure, make sure that the country itself, because a lot of our actual experts are leaving the country, this jackpot syndrome that they're always talking about. People are leaving the country. If the competent professionals that we have are going to other countries, who is going to run Nigeria? Who is going to make sure our processes are going properly? We'll start having issue. We implemented the zero cash policy, but without the systems being capable of handling the increase in transaction volumes. That's where you start having issues like this. It goes to focusing and putting more effort into infrastructural development to ensure that us in Nigeria have the necessary resources to function properly. Does that answer the question?
Okay. I think that should be my last question for today. Yes, before you finish, Mr. Esama. Yes. He's a very lovely younger man. Please put your hands together for him, please. One more time. Mr. Esama, thank you so much. Thank you. You are delivering virtues. You are dishing out knowledge comically. But it's cool. But don't try to do my job. You flop. One more time, please. A round of applause for Mr. Esama. Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you so much. Okay. We are still here. We are still doing this. And we are gradually coming to the end of this great summit that has been so impacting and so rewarding as well. Okay, we still have one more keynote address to listen to. Of course, you still remember our partners, our good partners, acronyms, our good partners as well, Fortinet. Our keynote partners, Oracle, technology partners, Hewlett Packard Enterprise, operated by Selectium. Knowledge partners, Microsoft. Solution partners, Huawei Cloud, and solution partners as well, Manage NG. And we are still here. Okay, I don't want to be like this lawyer, and I don't want to bore you too much. But sir, how do you expand your knowledge in tech and law? I don't get it. You're a doctor, you're a lawyer, what do you do? Only you? The next thing that you tell us you have poetry. I'm telling you, Nigerians are fascinated, very fascinating people. And I keep wondering, Nigerians are the best people in the world. We are so industrious. That's why I wonder why every of our things are so double. Have you ever wondered that? Everything we do in Nigeria is double. In the first place, imagine, what if you go to church? Nigerian man singing in church. Hey, my God is good. Everything that double. Everything double. And I was wondering, like, what is it really? Does that really apply to every aspect of our life? Yes. I will hint you on this. A British man will say one thing. A British man will tell you extreme. Abi? America will say end. But in Nigeria will say what? Extreme end. 2. British man will tell you short. America will tell you knicker. Nigerian man will tell you what? Short knicker. Wait, British will say it's barber shop. America will say it's barbing salon or salon. Nigeria will call it what? Barbing salon fashion home. Put one yourself. Okay, British will say so. America will say therefore. Nigeria, what will you say? You see that? British say from now. America say henceforth. Nigeria say what? From now as. Welcome my Nigerian brothers. I love you. British will say still. America say yet. What will Nigeria say? You see them? They are yeah. They know how to use it. British will say return. America will say turn back. Nigeria will say reverse and turn. Nigerians. British will call one